Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in for the third week in a row of Webski's live stream. A day late, dollar short, if you will, maybe. A little late as well. We had a flat tire in my wife's car. So we were getting that patched up this morning. We had a pretty cool mobile tire service that came to our house with the tire, everything, down to weight. Most shops around here were going to be at least 3 to 5 business days to get the tire in. So pretty neat. So if you're new here, welcome into the live stream. My name is Josh. I own Webski. We're a website design and marketing systems company, mostly with home service companies. We help small, medium-sized companies as well, but most of what our services are tailored towards is kind of the boring parts of marketing that people don't want to do and the time-consuming parts, because most of our customers are owner-operators, very small teams. They're in the truck, they're on the job site, so we automate your Google review management, your website design, your lead management. Anytime someone fills out a form, we text it to you. If you miss a call, we text the person. Kind of a mix of AI and just automation. But that's kind of what we like to do. We hop on here each week now to discuss different things in this live stream, and a little inside baseball. Each live stream, you'll notice we record also the videos for the week. This week we're only going to do 2 videos. Everything about websites, pretty much. I noticed the videos last week were a little too short for what I would like. So that's the goal. We're gonna do 2 videos, hopefully longer in length, maybe 10 minutes each, and this is a topic that I can talk about forever. I love the website piece of things. Definitely when it comes to the inner workings of it, what makes them tick, and like kind of debunking the common myth of your website is not just a business card. Once you get a new website online, to me, that's where things are really starting. Your website's a tool. It should be working with you and for you, not against you, or you not working for it. So yeah, it's kind of a combination of that. So we're gonna get started here. Like I said, 2 videos here. In between recordings, we'll hop in chat. If you have any questions about your website or just anything in general, I'm happy to answer that. And we will get. Weather's a little spotty here. Luckily, no thunder or lightning or anything, so we should be good for signal and everything. But if I do happen to go down, we're on YouTube and LinkedIn again this week, trying it out. If I do happen to go down, maybe refresh, and we'll hopefully be back. So let's dive in. Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 things every contractor needs to know about their website before you start losing leads. Let's dive in. So when we think of our website, we think of the culmination of everything our business does. Who we are, we explain our brand, our team, our services. Most people wouldn't think this, but your homepage, about page, and contact page are usually the most visited on any website, any industry, any service. Most people think, they jump right to the services page. While that may be the case, for some instances, a lot of the time, just general traffic number of page hits and visitors on a page leans towards those 3: home, about, contact, but then also time spent. I tell all of our customers we want to focus on an engaged customer, how much time they spend on the page, things like that, because that's going to inform the content we make. That's going to inform the marketing we may or may not include them in, things like that. So the number one thing when it comes to your contractor website, your home service professional website, it's not gonna be what you think it is. The location of all your credentials. I can't. This is a very strong topic for me. Very passionate about. Short story: we had a customer of ours come to us needing some kind of emergency website stuff, and long story short, they didn't have access to their domain name, hosting information, WordPress credentials. Because if you think about it like this, there are ways to eventually kind of backdoor into the website. Let's say you don't have the WordPress user account, but you have your cPanel, which is your hosting, which that hosting leads to then your database. You can log in that way. with some tweaks, but we had nothing. We had literally nothing that we could use to log into this customer's website. And it's not just a matter of, yes, this is their livelihood. This is like we need to change out services pricing. But think about this from the owner's perspective. This is their livelihood. This is what they do day in, day out. And essentially they have, they're, almost they paid for a car they don't have the keys to or the title to. And a lot of it is, it's rarely ever, luckily, out of spite or malice from the previous company or the designer. It's just an afterthought when it comes down to it. Because, a lot of people want to focus on, the very appealing, the sexy part of doing the website, the design, the mood board, your copy. And then once everything's live, everyone's so excited to hit the ground running. Because, once once your website's live, we're just getting started. Now it's time to really ramp up your marketing. And there's like that really, invigorating passion for things. People are not going to worry about your credentials. They just don't. So what we like to do is provide all of our customers with a website owner's manual, 1 to 3 pages, focusing on everything I mentioned here: your website hosting information, your WordPress information, database info, DNS, where your domain's purchased, the domain registrar you may hear referred to as. If there's any ongoing monthly subscriptions for like email marketing or text marketing, maintenance, those are all included. A single source of truth, hit by a bus plan, if you will, that our customers can give to, usually 1 or 2 trusted people in their company, their spouse, things like that, just because we don't want to be the single key holder for any of our company websites. That's not the game we're in. That's not what we want to do. It's a liability to us, and they paid for the service, they paid for the website, so they need to have ownership. If they want to go to work for someone else, they hand them that owner's manual that we made them, easy peasy. We're all off to the sunset. The second thing is maintaining freshness. When I mentioned this, make sure you're uploading, job site pictures, updating your team page, updating, adding reviews. Google likes to see regular updates to your website. I like to say at least, once a month, kind of make some content, some tweaks, things like that. Treat this different than your Google business profile. Your GBP is certainly something daily, every other day, definitely weekly. Website is not needed as much because it is a lot of work. A lot of the time, you just kind of get that lumped into your care plan where you can go through each week or each month and have some changes done. But always, maintain the freshness of that, because a lot of the time, when it comes to, let's say, remodeling services, certain designs and unfortunately, sometimes the camera quality of jobs is not the best. And like, in 2025, you can tell, there's no knock to the quality of the work being performed that I look at, in a case study. But you want to show, you're really proud of your work. You want to show that off. High quality camera, most new smartphones are good now. So just maintain the freshness and the high quality of your work and your site, and it'll go a long way building trust, the know, like, and trust factors with your audience. Third one, where you thought we were probably going to get a bit more techie, is the hosting speed. You've seen probably a dozen different ways to test your hosting speed with Google Page Insights. Pingdom is one, GT Metrics. I got a good one for you. Take your phone out, load your website. Take your laptop out, load your website. Go to a coffee shop, load your website. 3 seconds or more is too slow. That's kind of the general operating benchmark of you're losing leads if it's takes longer than 3 seconds to load your site. Don't worry about the different tools and metrics. That's where someone like myself would come in to see, okay, why is it slow? Usually know, okay, is it slow? Is what you could check is your image sizes. A lot of the time, the phone images, unless you load the optimized one, they're going to be really heavy on the site, on the server. So you can kind of check that. But once you get past that, just I'm not worried too much about getting into the weeds of it. Find someone in your circle you can talk with about it. But if you're not getting leads, check your hosting speed. That's definitely something that we have seen be a common occurrence in the past for our customers. Usually know, okay, is it slow? What you could check is your image sizes. A lot of the time, the phone images, unless you load the optimized one, they're going to be really basic maintenance schedule. Kind of check that. But we have a video later coming on the channel that will go over what would be included and what makes up a maintenance schedule. But a lot of websites need to be updated. Think about this think about your website as your truck, as your fleet of vehicles. You get your oil change, you get your tires rotated, balanced. We just had my wife's tire replaced. So just like those very key pieces of your business, of your operations, your website needs that same maintenance at a different level. So think about a basic maintenance schedule. I'd focus on making sure things are updated, making sure you have backups. You can go directly, usually through your hosting provider, and make sure your website's backed up. And then the last thing I would make to think, most hosting providers would have a vulnerability kind of security scan that you can add into that basic maintenance schedule. If it doesn't, don't worry about it now. Like I said, the next video will kind of go over more tools for that. But there's three things. Your plugin updates, your theme updates, your security scans, and then also your make sure your website's backed up. I forgot it. We're live. Vulnerability kind of security scan. We'll chop this out. Completely forgot it. If it doesn't, don't worry about it now. Like I said, the next video will kind of go over more tools for that. But there's three things. Your plugin updates, your theme updates, your we're gonna cut this one. Okay, number 4, basic maintenance schedule. So when we talk about this, think about your website similar to your truck, your fleet of vehicles. This is a very vital piece of your operations in your business. Just like your truck, you need to get your digital oil changed, if you will, tires rotated, balanced, things like that. So we like to recommend a few different key points to this. Number 1, go through your user names and passwords. If there's any old team members that need to be deleted, get rid of them. This goes for all your key business software, but definitely your website. Also, we've seen a lot of people maybe left over in their marketing software, maybe MailChimp, things like that. Always double check that. The other thing would be make sure your plugins and themes, your software essentially, is updated. Be careful with this one because usually now there's enough testing done during the development phase to where everything is good to go in terms of you're just not gonna break your site or anything. But make sure you have backups in place before you do this. Most of your hosting providers will have backups, like GoDaddy has built in if you're on a certain level of plan. So make sure the backups are in place and then go through with your updates. We'll have a video later on this channel, the next video after this one actually, a deep dive of what a maintenance plan looks like. So focus on those, and the last one would be security. So most managed hosting providers, if you have that, will have a security scan built in. Vulnerabilities, you can also maybe not something you would be too keen to do, but there's a few blogs like WP Tavern has a good kind of feed of just like things to look out for. But like I said, the first 2 or 3 I mentioned, that's your basic maintenance plan that'll have you covered most of the way for that. So the last, number 5, the last one is monitor your leads coming in and your forms. So no one knows your business better than you. No one knows the marketing you're doing, where your message is being shared, things like that. So make sure, let's say you have a new radio campaign coming out, test your forms. We recommend testing every quarter, every 3 months. Test your forms, make sure people get notifications, should be, or maybe if they shouldn't be, remove them from the flow. A lot of the time, unless you have your configuration set up, those notifications from your form software, form plugin or CRM may get lost in spam. Check that. It's always just good, kind of little wellness check, if you will. Little quarterly physical for your website's forms. Make sure they're being tracked and everything. Attribution, we'll later video, but usually what I would do is include in your form how'd you hear about us, radio, TV, social media. That way you don't have to worry about the tracking back end. That's something where I would come in and kind of look at. So if you don't have it already, add in, how'd you hear about us on your form. That way it'll give you a very top level way to kind of see what's working and what's not. Yeah, that's pretty much, what I like to recommend is the top 5 things to do for any contractor, home service professional websites. If you want your very own website owner's manual template to kind of build yours off of, please comment manual down below in the comments, but also feel free, there's a link in the description below to opt in for that. I'll send you one. And also we'll have, if you go to webski.io/GBP, we have a 6 tips for using Google Guide, completely free, that you can use kind of like, takes the next step. Once your website's ready to go, your Google business profile will then kind of get, the love and care from that guide, and you're set up for success. So thank you all for watching this. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll probably link a video, so here, whatever direction it's going to be, to kind of keep watching if you're interested. And I hope you all like the context of this video. Thanks. Have a great day. Nice. 12 minutes, so it'll be about 10. Once I cut the brakes, the water, the blunder on the forgetting what I was talking about. A little behind the scenes, some more. I have a mix of a transcript that I was going to try to read, but I don't have a really good teleprompter for. But also I have a like a bulleted list. So I'm kind of doing a mix. Just kind of got lost there. Okay. So let me give 2 seconds. Forgetting what I was talking about. A little behind the scenes, some more. I have a mix of a transcript that I was going to try to read, but I don't have a really good teleprompter for. But also I have a like a bulleted list. So I'm kind of doing a mix. Just kind of got lost there. Okay. So let me give 2 seconds. I had this. I'm gonna change up a little bit based on what I said in the last video. I'm trying not to overlap things too much, because like I said, like top of the call, I could talk about this all day. So I'm trying to hit the longer videos, but also not fill with a bunch of fluff, and repetition, things like that. It's funny. I was about to mention, I'm trying to cut out on the ums and things like that, and I do that in my software. As I say it here, just because like but I think the video, last week's video, the second one I did, it had like 2 minutes worth of that, like filler words that it removed. So I said it again. It's just like it's constant. So okay, got that set up. So 3 steps. So update. The video, last week's video, the second one I did, it had like 2 minutes worth of that, like filler words that it removed. So I said it again. It's just like it's constant. So okay, got that set up. I'd love to go right into this hook that I wrote. I'm still like trying to find my flow of adding in like my hooks, my call to actions, things like that. I thought about just like I have a few different just recordings I've done with the call to action being there. I may just like just insert that into the video, but for now we'll kind of keep doing like this. So good. I'm still like trying to find my flow of adding hooks, my call to action, things like that. I thought about just like I have a few different recordings I've done. I also thought about changing shirts like during each video, because like doing 3 videos is not as bad, but as I'm cutting up shorts and everything, like I'm the same shirt in all these videos. Um, so I know a lot of people that batch record for their channels. They like change shirts during it or during it. So thought about that. Okay, here we go. If you ignore your website, it will malfunction at the worst possible moment. Think of it like your work truck. If you don't take care of it, don't change the oil, things like that, disaster is bound to happen. So I'll give you a 4-step, very low-touch method to make sure your website stays functioning and continue to produce leads for you. So let's dive into the video. If you're new here, my name is Josh. I own Webski. We're a website design and digital marketing systems service provider for home service businesses. If you're new here, my name is Josh. I work with If you're new here, my name is Josh. I own Webski. We're a website design and marketing systems company for home service professionals. We help businesses automate the boring and minute stuff, link different technologies together, your CRM, your review management software. That's where we come in. Very low cost to include that. And our goal is to build the foundation that your business has to then grow more. Start doing paid advertising. Start doing all the SEO in the world, which we offer. So we think about foundation level. So anything we're going to be discussing here, I want to be very low touch as possible, just to make sure your website is continuing to work as it should and as you're expecting it to. Because I know I've been there. Raise your hand if you've been there too. Once that website's live, it can be an afterthought at times. I've seen it with some of my customers. Some of my personal sites, just from different blogging side passions and stuff, I've done it. So trust me, you're not alone. But once your website's live, that's when it's really time to focus in, not just on your marketing, but also making sure you have a plan and system in place to keep things running like a well-oiled machine. So number one, update your software. If you're on WordPress, most of this video will be about WordPress. If you're on WordPress, you're going to have your plugins, your themes, and your database. I like to make sure when it comes to doing plugins and when it comes to updates, you'll have version numbers. You'll have like 8.0, 8.1, 8.1.1. I usually tend, unless there's like been a vulnerability I've read like in a blog or seen like in the news, I usually like to only update when that second version that's kind of came out, all the bug fixes have worked. So the 8.0.1, for instance, very rarely is your software going to jump from 8.0 to 8.1. So kind of look for that kind of second, third version as they've tested things to update. That's just my rule of thumb. That's where most of my care plan clients. That's what I follow for them. The more high touch sites, the more high maintenance sites, we'll do a bit more frequently. Depends on that. Definitely e-commerce gets a little hairy, but update your software. Kind of take that smaller approach, and you'll be just fine. Making sure that second or third versions come out before you do anything with your updates. Number 2 is backing up your site. So if your hosting provider, if you're on what's called a managed hosting plan with a GoDaddy, Managed WP, HostGator may even have one now. They will usually have a backup for you to sign up for. Sometimes it may cost money. You can also use I Love Updraft Plus. It's a free plugin you can download and add to your website, and then you'll download. I think you can set the schedule, the recurring schedule, even on the free plan. It downloads about 5 folders plus your database file. That all you gotta do is save to your hard drive. You don't have to know how to use this, because hopefully, fingers crossed, if we're updating the right way, and the tech's working as it should, which can sometimes not be the case, you should not need this. But if you do, it's something you can either hop on YouTube, figure out how to upload that, or you can contact your friendly neighborhood tech guy, webmaster. I can do it for you. So I can't tell you how nice it is to say, oh, here's my backup file, and it saves me so much time. So back up your site. I should have put this before. Back up your site before you do any updates. Before you touch your site at all. I love backing up my site. I do it daily for all my care plan clients. It depends on what software you have and limitations. You may not be able to do it that often. But just, you know your site, you know how many blogs you're posting, how many products you're doing. Kind of pick a schedule that works best for your workflow. The third one, this one gets a bit in the weeds and things like that. Is optimizing your database. It's built into my software how I do this, and I would only recommend it if at the end of the video I'm going to go over the software I use. I would only optimize your database or worry about it if it's offered in your software or in your plugin. The manual approach is not going to be something I would recommend to really to anyone. Just because it's hard to say I know there's probably people smarter than me that can say here's the exact quantitative reasoning for doing optimizing your database and not. I can't do that, so I like to say okay, it's nice to have, keep things running. But if you're in a situation where you don't have that option available, don't worry about it, and we kind of go to the next one. Okay, the next one, number 4, scan for vulnerabilities. This is, again, also an automated process that most of your managed hosting providers should also have. It's definitely included in the software I'm going to mention. But a vulnerability is, let's say, for instance, I'm using Gravity Forms on my website, and there's a known exploit. Let's say a certain PHP file in the plugin has bad code that lets a certain virus, cyber attack kind of come through and penetrate the website and the server. That's what is flagged as a vulnerability. So the devs, very quickly write new code, put a patch in, and that's where you may see an update for a vulnerability. Always do those. I do not wait on those. I was talking top of the video about my update kind of philosophy. Do not wait for vulnerability. Say that fast 3 times. Do not wait for vulnerability updates. Just go ahead and do them, because more often than not, there's no features built into those. So when you have the 8.1.1, 8.1.2, those are including usually bug fixes, but also maybe some new features, some minor features. Mostly what I see, the patches for security issues do not include any features at all. So theoretically, it won't break anything on your site. So, but like I said, we have backups. So just in case, we're good. Okay, the last one is a bit more of where you can kind of create your own adventure. So this last one, number 5, is using software for everything I mentioned here. I'll go back. So I'm going to throw a bonus in before we get to the very last one here. Number 5 slash bonus, if you will, is to test everything after you do it. The whole video, the premise of this is how contractors can maintain their website without a tech guy. And that is still the case, but I want to, definitely encourage you to, anytime you make changes to your site, whether it's, page names, updates, theme changes, always test after the case. So there is something called a staging and dev site that you could go the route of, but to keep it simple and keep it easy, I just usually make a change, maybe update one plugin, check everything, update the next one, check everything, just to kind of double check. Nothing that, because you hate to get in the situation where you update, bulk update 10 plugins at once, and then next thing you know, you load your site and your service page is gone, or your video is not loading right. So which one caused the issue? It's hard to know. So test, update, test, and then also test your forms. I mentioned in my previous video, mention it here again because I've seen it countless times and times over. Always test your forms, making sure the right people are getting them, making sure people that maybe are getting them that shouldn't be, get rid of them. Maybe your services have changed. Also, always add in how'd you hear about us. That's the easiest way to attribute your marketing dollars to performance without having to get into the tracking parameters and things like that, and attribution methods. So once you've kind of update everything, you have your backups, you update, you test, you're in a really good spot to move to the next. That was kind of a weird. I was thinking got like an all track, so we'll kind of go back. So yeah, number 5, make sure you test. Can't stress it enough. If you have any questions about how to test things like that, leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to answer that for you. So number 6, the grand finale, if you will, is maybe thinking, well, Josh, this is a great list, but it seems a bit time consuming because I also run a business. And you're right, it is. That's why we do it under a website, maintenance and support plan or care plans. But if you want to still do this yourself, which I encourage anyone to, there's 2 main softwares that I'm recommending to people now. Manage WP. Recently, in the last year or two, maybe 3 or 4 years, bought by GoDaddy. So that kind of has its, comes with its own, maybe not. But also WP Umbrella. That's the newest one I'm switching most of my clients to. And everything we mentioned plus more, this does it for you. Very nice dashboard, client report. You can see what was done, how many updates were finished. But most importantly, it has the backups built in down to the hour, I believe, for at least for WP Umbrella. And then you can quickly restore your site to that previous, that previous backup if anything happens, security issues, things like that. So not to say you have to have software to do this. I just highly recommend it to make it easier for you and anyone on your team that you may task with this. But like I said, if you would like to have us do this, you know how to reach me. So yeah, that is the 5/6 ways that you can make sure your website's up to date and maintained without hiring a tech guy or becoming a tech guy. I know most people don't want to think about this. Most people don't want to, they can't spend the time to dive into this. So I try to make this very quick, rudimentary baseline guide for this. It goes way deeper, like most things, when it comes to tech. But if you do this, you'll be very well off, better than probably most of your competitors are not, paying someone to do this. If you have any questions, like I said, leave me a comment. My email is jdunn@webski.io. And then if you want a little freebie at the end of the video for staying so long, if you go to webski.io/gbp, this is our free 6 tips guide for getting more customers on Google. Not necessarily related to the maintenance part, but you can get this free guide that will help you optimize your Google business profile. And then if you comment the word manual down below, I'll send you a bit more of like a structured document that I discussed in our previous video that will kind of help piece some of this maintenance schedule together for you. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support, and you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Okay. Little shaky there, but I think we can work with it. Okay, that's all I had today for the live stream. Anyone on YouTube or LinkedIn with questions before I sign off? Just checking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, that's all I had today for the live stream. I'm glad we got this done before the weather got bad. Let's see. Okay, great. I think we are good to go. Well, thank you all so much for watching, tuning in each week to these live streams. I'm going to keep coming with those streams. We'll be kind of getting some more of the blog and social media content produced from these. Right now I want to focus on a month or so of consistent streams and videos and reels and shorts and everything else nowadays. Next step is going to be the blog and social media posts based off that. And then the last piece of the puzzle is my email newsletter once a week, working up towards that. So thank you all so much for watching this, supporting my business here at Webski and hanging out here on the YouTubes. And if you have any questions, like I said in the videos, my email is jdunn@webski.io. All the different freebies are down below to grab with your email. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'd love to chat about marketing, website design, marketing automation, things like that. You know how to reach me. Thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next week for the next live stream. Adios.